A close-up view on populism and democracy now. A look at Hungary and the recent re-election of Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Our next guest says that with the exception of Vladimir Putin, nobody possesses as much power in Eastern and Central Europe as Viktor Orban. Paul Lendvai is a respected journalist and author. He was a correspondent for the Financial Times for more than 2 decades. His most recent book is called Orban, Hungary's Strongman. Paul Lendvai spoke to us from Vienna. Prime Minister Orban likes to describe what is happening in Hungary as an illiberal democracy. How would you describe what's happening?
Well, this is a very convenient, very elegant term which he picked up in 2014 from the American moderator and writer Fareed Zakaria. But it's much more than illiberal. It is on the way from a liberal democracy to an authoritarian system, and the great question is whether it will be sharpened, developed to become a more or less dictatorial regime. For the moment, Hungary is not Russia, is not Belarus, it's not Turkey. It is at the same time, however, no longer the same Hungary as it was 10 years ago. The basic features are the media practically in the hands of the government, the governing party or the government, which is the same. The justice is in the hands of the political power, the police, every single major issue, the National Bank. So, and above all, the Constitutional Court has been totally refurbished so that all the so-called breaks, the constitutional breaks, have been eliminated. And at the same time, the opposition is scattered, weak, split, and partly, as in the case of the socialists, discredited. And on top of it, yes, sorry.
No, that's okay. So at the same time, though, people still seem to be supporting Orban in spite of what you describe. Why?
Well, it is, you know, rather simple. There is no other source of information as the media, the TV, radio, and the very important local regional papers, which are all under the control of the government. B, there is also a layer of society which profited from the changes in the administration, in the local government, in the banking apparatus, in the industry, and there is also, of course, something else. He is Orban, Viktor Orban, who will be on May 31st, 55, only 55, is a very able politician. He is not right conservative, as he is often described, but a national populist. And he used one major issue, and that's the national issue. The Hungarians are a hurt people, hurt nation, ever since their country has been divided. And about 1 in 3 Hungarians in 1920 became subjects in new states in the neighboring countries. So he managed to use this issue as a major instrument, combined also with the fear of foreigners, of refugees, of migrants. He was the first European leader, within the European Union, who unabashedly used this issue for whipping up popular support for him, even from people who disliked the other aspects of his government.
You've described him as someone who is a threat to the future of the European Union. Others are perhaps even stronger, calling him the most dangerous man in the EU. Why is that?
Because he touched a subject which also appeals to the other Central East European countries, which regard themselves as the losers of history. They were under communist rule, and they haven't really faced up to the past. In most of these countries, except for Bohemia, there were right of the center and authoritarian governments in the interwar period, and they never had foreign laborers, they never had Muslim migrants. So the other countries, neighboring countries, Slovakia, Poland, even the Czech Republic, the leaders followed his youth, and so there is almost not really a bloc, but there are several countries, the regimes, the governments, which follow his lead, regardless of the labels. The Slovaks called themselves Social Democrats. Nevertheless, they supported the anti-foreign, anti-migrant, anti-refugee line. And there is one more aspect which is very sad. Hungary has lost hundreds of thousands of people after the suppression of the revolution in 1956. And now, during the last years, more than 500,000 people left Hungary for economic reasons. And the Hungarians are also per head of the population, incredible number of Nobel Prize winners. But nevertheless, the fact that the same country and the same nation appears now as anti-foreign, anti-humanist is a very sad feature of Hungarian politics today. Not only in Hungary, but also in Central Europe. And his line appeals also to the extreme right in France, in Germany, and in Austria.
Mr. Lendvai, I appreciate your time and your insight into all of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.